Hello everyone, I'm the Vacuuminator.
I'm Buster.
And this week in Toku, we're going to be discussing a literal thicket of Kamen Rider news, the latest episodes of Zenkaiger and Dino Fury, and Monk vs. Lizard.
Yeah! Or as other people call it, Godzilla vs. Kong, but we're not lame.
Yeah, we're cool kids. Before we get into anything, I want to hear how one of us cool kids has been doing this week. Buster, how has your week been?
It has been a very productive week. I've made 2 videos in the span of this, like the last time we've done this.
Hooray!
They're both short videos, but I think they're good.
Hey, progress is progress.
Yeah. Also been starting to read and watch Invincible, so that's nice. Also started the Radiant Black comic. It is better than I expected, although it's still getting overhyped. But anyway.
That's really good to hear. I expected Radiant Black to be absolute crap from like the trailers and stuff. And then the other night after we did, I think it was the wrestling podcast, Boingo was like, so I started reading Radiant Black and I was like, oh god, please tell me it's not the worst thing ever. And he's like, no, it's actually really good. And I was like, that actually makes me more upset because now I have to read it at some point.
Well, you can find a video recommending the video on recommending the comic on me channels. So
way. I've had a fairly solid week. Some general life happenings and stuff going on. Hey, here's a little update for people. I finally got my COVID shot. The first of 2. I got the Moderna 2 dose, so I got to go back in 30 days. Or actually less than 30 days now for my second dose. Although we don't want to get too deep into real-world pandemic stuff here right now, I just want to let people know up front, like, yeah, it made my arm hurt for, like, 24 hours afterwards, but I got up this morning and I was completely fine. So, no
yeah, same
issues,
with me.
no bad reactions.
Yeah, same with me. I had the shot earlier in the year, so...
So, like...
It's fine.
It's fine. You'll be fine. Get the shot. Wear your mask until the government says not to.
Or even, maybe, who knows.
Well, hey, look. If you're still not comfortable wearing your not wearing a mask next flu season, I don't think it should be really a bad thing if people are still wearing masks next flu season.
Yeah, they're still fashionable anyway, so...
Yeah. I'm gonna keep some of my franchise themed ones. I paid $10 for my Kenny Omega and my G.I. Joe Cobra masks. I'm not getting rid of those. Those are cool.
Yeah. I still need to get a franchise mask. Speaking of franchises, let's get into the news.
Yeah, because there was a lot of news this week for a particular reason we'll get into when we get to that stuff, but
yeah.
First off, we have some Ultraman news. Figures and things were announced. First off, the Ultra Hero Series Ultraman Tiga, the final Odyssey figure. Tiga. God, I always mess that up.
It's fine.
But the final Odyssey figure set for Tiga, which is 3 vinyls of 3 of Tiga's different forms. Yeah, these exist.
They look fine.
I
got nothing else to say. Although, I might want to use this. Is this the only Ultraman Tiga stuff here? I might want to use this part to talk quickly about a rumor that Ultraman Trigger might involve something with Tiga now. Because if you watch, so if you watch Vintage Henshin's video, you know that Tiga has a bit of a rocky history, mainly to. I don't want to get into the full story, but it has a rocky history, and recently. Ironically, that's 25th anniversary year. Something happened that might have cleared up Tiga for future, like, so they can use Tiga more, like, probably get the actor back and stuff.
Ooh.
So it seems like Trigger might be the time where Tiga makes its comeback. So
is Trigger gonna be Tiga's son or something like that?
Maybe not, because I don't know. I haven't watched Ultra Galaxy Fight Absolute Conspiracy, but from what I've heard, Trigger might be involved with the Absolutes. But like, maybe Tiga will make a cameo for like a couple episodes, and that'll be like the big thing. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, these vinyls look fine. Like all vinyls look
certainly
fine
vinyls.
To me. But honestly, like I don't want to put down anyone who owns vinyls, but I kind of think vinyls are cheap crap. Like, I have no interest in ever owning vinyls. So I look at these and I go, yeah, that does exist.
They're great display pieces.
They're you know what? They're good little kids Toku toys. It's like buying a one-step changer for your little cousin who's a Transformers fan. And
I actually have a Grimlock one on my shelf, so
hey. But moving on, we have another vinyl type thing. This is kind of a vinyl plus, I guess you would call it. The Ultraman Ultimate Luminous Gomora figure. Which, from what I understand,
it looks sick.
From what I understand, is a vinyl Gomora that just the head lights up, because he has a light up head crest thingy. I know who Gomora is. I've seen Ultra Q. Be quiet.
It's a really good. It looks really nice.
It's very well detailed.
Yeah.
How much is it retailing for? Let me see. It is.
It is 6,000 yen.
That's like rough. Let me just put it into a Google converter real quick. I'm not going to talk out my ass about that. Yen to US dollars. That is $54.
54?
Yeah. So hopefully this thing is kind of big.
Yeah, it looks pretty big.
Yeah, because it doesn't look very well articulated. But like, if it lights up and it's fairly big, that'd probably be worth the price.
Yeah.
But it says right here it is 130 millimeters. I don't know how tall that is in American measurements.
Yeah.
Back to Google. That is 5 inches tall. No, that's not worth $54 to me. Yeah,
I mean, it's a good it's well detailed, but I'm good.
Yeah, this is for the ultra fan out there, I would say. But getting into some kind of off the beaten path news here. We have additional Super Battle Junretsuger cast and stuff. Junretsuger. It's a German series.
Yeah. Is it German? Really?
No, I'm joking. The way to pronunciation.
Because I was thinking, darn Vac.
Sorry.
Anyway, so this is a thing. It's gonna took us out to alumni, mainly from Kamen Rider. There's Tiga from X-Aid, Akira Dante Burr from O's, which I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I love that. He's my favorite one of my favorite secondary writers. We also got Kirikage from Gaim or Ryuji. Was that the guy who, spoiler alert, died in the first 10 episodes?
Kirikage, he does die, but more towards the middle of the series.
Okay, yeah.
Remember, that's the Pinecone armor that becomes the troop builder?
Yeah, that's the guy I was referring to. Also, Hurricane Yellow will be like their mentor, so that's neat.
Yeah, they've announced that, and then they've announced that playing the villains are a relative unknown, and then Kabuto Rider, Kamen Rider Zolda, and Gao Black. So...
Oh yeah, those are suit actors.
Is that the suit actors?
Yeah, the following have been revealed as the Junretsuger's suit actors.
Oh, okay. I got a little bit confused.
These guys are they're based in let me watch the trailer just so I'm not talking
According
about
to this article, the plot of this series is that it is a group of gentlemanly pretty boys who enjoy performing karaoke at a spa, who then have to defend said spa from evil tokusatsu villains. And that's who these additional cast members
that's basically it.
Villains.
Yeah, I'm watching the trailer. That's basically it. The suits look really good, actually. I really like the suits. They look sick.
Yeah, this looks like
I'm very excited.
I'm sorry. This looks like a fun side project, and I hope someone subs it.
Probably. It's going to be a theatrical release this year, so probably won't get the subs of the Blu-ray because it's coming out fall 2021. We probably won't get the subs till 2022 if someone decides to hunt out a Blu-ray.
Well, I mean, I'm just giving OZC the side eye real quick. OZC subs, Tokusatsu this week kind of came in and ate a whole bunch of your library. You want to maybe build that back up? Here's something I don't think they're going to go for anytime soon. Please, I like you, OZC. You're good people. please.
Yeah. I mean, they salvaged some of the Wizard and Forze dubs, so...
Yeah, they're heroes for that. And then we have something really off the beaten path, because I didn't even know this series was a thing until I saw this article this week. But there has been a Toei-produced, idol-themed tokusatsu series that's now like 4 or 5 installments in, and the latest installment is police-themed, and it's getting a movie, which had a trailer dropped.
Yeah, it's called Challenge from a Phantom Thief will Arrest You with Love. That's a pretty good name.
And it's like legit teenage idol girls from Japan playing the main heroes in this. So this has got to be like ultra lol Japan to watch, which I imagine is why it hasn't gotten subbed.
Actually, like, I think previous installments have gotten subbed.
Really?
And I've actually seen people talk about previous installments, so, like, there's not like as much love as other indie toku like Dogangers or Dogangers.
Dogangers.
I just really like Dogangers, y'all.
And I mean, like, I've heard people talk about After V a lot.
After V, I need to get to After V.
Same here, bud. But no, this looks super interesting. I was happy to learn about this, and now that we know there's potentially subs out there, if anybody wants to point me towards some subs, maybe this will get on my back catalog of stuff to watch.
Yeah, probably like if like I don't know, maybe one day we'll cover it on TWIT, but who knows?
Yeah, if there's a new series that gets subbed like in time with new episode releases, I would be happy to cover it on this show. But unless something on that level happens, I don't think we'll ever cover it in depth. Maybe just like an old eps, hey, I watched this week kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's more Toku than Pretty Cure. I'm sorry, guys, Pretty Cure's an anime.
Is there an argument that Pretty Cure is a Toku? Is that a thing?
Kinda. It's a long story.
Man, people be crazy.
Speaking of stories, Toho is releasing a Godzilla 1995 Burning Clear figure. It looks sick. It's kind of silly because it's just Godzilla, but he has heat spots. But it's sick. It's Godzilla. He always looks cool, except in 1998. But we don't talk about that. Yeah,
this is based off of I believe the final Millennium film where he
because this was before 2000. What? Godzilla dies?
I think he dies, and then he comes back, and then
Godzilla does,
and then him and Hedorah, or no, not Hedorah. What's the
Destroyer?
Mina, the kid Godzilla, who is grown up by the time of this movie. This movie ends with them walking off into the sea, and that's meant to be the last appearance of Godzilla for a while until.
And then Sony gave them the middle finger in 1998, but again.
Yeah, and then the Millennium franchise happened. Did I say this Millennium franchise? I meant to say this is the end of the Heisei franchise.
Yeah.
And like
basically, Godzilla has 2 Heisei eras. It's like neat.
Godzilla is the original Neo Heisei.
Yeah, or New Generation. If we're going by Ultraman logic. Speaking of logic, or lack thereof, or I don't know. Something to know, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Megazord, because, of course, we needed more toys of it.
I'm actually kind of low-key excited about this. I don't think basically, backtrack. Flame Toys has revealed their design for a model kit of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Megazord. No actual pics of the product or, proper release info. We just know that it's going to be roughly 7 to 8 inches tall, and it will fully transform and combine, and it's coming sometime soon. We just have a design sketch for now.
It's a good design sketch, I'll admit, but come on, guys.
I mean, to play devil's advocate here, this is the most bankable design, and if you want to get a line going, you go with the most bankable design first. Look at what Flame Toys did with Transformers. They did an Optimus Prime, a set of Seekers, and Devastator, and Bumblebee as their first few releases. Granted, not G1 designs. They took their own creative liberties for it, kind of like how they have here. And then they started giving like really weird off the wall shit. Like they did a figure of the Fallen, not the movie The Fallen character, but the original version of him from IDW. And they've done a Drift, they've got an RC, and they just announced.
So what you're
RC,
saying is this could be. So what you're saying is this could be the start of something more promising.
Yeah, I would say look at this as like a more look at this as Super Mini Plot, but taking creative liberties with the designs.
Yeah,
like I think because remember, Super Mini Plot started out with the full range of Jew Ranger robots, and I think that's what they're gonna do here. They're probably gonna give us the whole MMPR range, and then they're gonna say, what else can we do? What else will sell?
Yeah.
So I'm hesitantly excited about this. I'm not a model kit guy, so I'm not gonna buy these, but I will be excited to see how these turn out, and hopefully we get more like these. Because I would love to see Flames Toys takes on certain other designs from the Power Rangers franchise. I'd love to see their takes on Wild Force designs, on Dino Thunder, Samurai, and Jungle Fury. I think those would all be great designs for Flame Toys to take on.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is
speaking of Flame.
Hey, we are now going on to we're going down into a burning ring of fire here, folks, because a little thing happened this past week. You might have heard of it. It is kind of a slight little footnote in history that happened. It was the 50th anniversary of the Kamen Rider franchise. And
forgot the potty poppers, y'all.
Yay! And it's kind of funny because we haven't really done much Kamen Rider discussion yet on this show because Saber,
we skipped Saber.
It's right. Saber was right smack and still is right smack dab in the middle of its run when we started this show, so we weren't going to catch up to it and then start doing weekly discussions. But when the next Rider show starts, we plan to start talking about that, and we'll probably talk about a number of things that got announced here. But there was a literal thicket of Kamen Rider news that got dropped on everybody over the course of the last week because of the 50th anniversary, which was actually pleasantly surprising to me because, remember last week, Team Rider made that announcement of like, oh, we're doing Kamen Rider Week to celebrate the 50th anniversary, live streams and movie premieres, and I'm like, yeah, great, whatever, come back when you have real news. And then they beat me over the head with real news, and I was happy.
Toei did too, but like...
Well, Toei did it by way of Team Rider. Team Rider gets that shit out in the US, you know?
Yeah.
But
shall we start the flood?
Yeah, starting off with the first thing here, we have the official reveal of SH Figuarts Shinkocchou Seihou Kamen Rider Kuuga growing form.
AKA the white form you see in the first episode.
I'm actually super excited about this because it's the last Shinkocchou Seihou Kuuga we needed to complete all the forms.
Ooh, nice.
And as a little treat on top of that, it actually comes with additional accessories for... oh god, I know one of them's called Pegasus, but I forget what the other form is.
The blue one is Pegasus. No, and I think one of them's Dragon, the other is Pegasus.
Yeah, Pegasus and Dragon. We get the items that the everyday items that those forms use to create their weapons.
The gun meme.
You can create the fucking Kuuga gun meme with your action figures now, and that's so exciting.
Yeah.
And also just like, in my opinion, growing form is low-key one of the best rider forms. Like, it's such a perfect base form.
It only appeared for one episode.
Yeah, and it works. It works as a great, like, base form. Much better than some other forms that we call base forms, like the Gaim Undersuit. People call that a base form, and I'm like, yeah, come back to me when you've got free high-end action figures of that. Because this is the third high-end growing form, I think, and I'm pretty jazzed about this happening.
Kuuga nostalgia is running wild as usual.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I say that I don't own any Kuuga merchandise as of present, but like I would really love to own the full range of Shinkocchou Seihou Kuuga stuff, and that's me saying that as somebody who doesn't generally like Figuarts. So You know that's good shit. But hey, speaking of good shit that'll probably get you excited, Buster, we have the official reveal of SH Figuarts Kamen Rider build Ninnin comic form.
Yeah, I'm so, like, I still need to buy build figures. I have a build plushie. That's about it. I need more. I need to get more build merchandise, but this looks sick. I love it. It's one of, like, Ninnin comic is one of the, like, great. Like, I mean, I can't really pick a favorite Suden builds because they're all just so good. Yes, even Crossy charged that one commenter. But yeah, just so good. Looks so good. That's what I can say. It's so good.
Yeah, I've always been of the opinion that build has so many good suits it outweighs the few really bad suits it has, because I'm in the crowd that hates Cross C Charge. But this is one of those forms that, like, in the show I saw it and went, yeah, whatever, I don't care. But as a figure, this thing looks amazing. Like, the way they incorporated the different textures of, like, the chainmail and whatnot really makes this thing stand out as a Rider action figure. And low-key, I kind of want it. Like, it wouldn't be the first build Figuart I'd get, but I would definitely not mind having this. Hey, I can one-up you here. I do have a build figure. I have Bottle Change Lion Cleaner, which I literally just bought because it was a Kamen Rider vacuum cleaner form, and vacuum is part of my name.
Oh, I think you were building that on a stream I popped in once. I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway.
I mean, that's not a model kit, so...
Oh.
Trying to think. But,
yeah, you built something build-related on a stream. I forgot which one.
And now, not even I can remember. But this will be a web exclusive. It's releasing in September, so everybody go ahead and shave back those pennies. And so will Growing Kuuga. Growing Kuuga is going to be 6,600 yen, and Ninnin comic is going to be 7,150 yen. So go ahead and get out your converters. I'm not doing it again. But yeah, definitely some expensive boys coming up. And hey,
speaking of expensive boys,
an expensive belt is coming up. There is confirmation that there will be a complete selection modification Kamen Rider Zeneros belt and a Zeneros, a Kamen Rider Den-O movie edition belt. No real word on what these are going to.
Excited.
No word on what these are going to look like or what they're going to include, but it's complete selection modification, so probably all the things, as well as, like, background music and maybe some lines from the actors.
Yeah. Actually, I can totally see Yuto's actor coming back to do a commercial, and that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, like, I've never bought a CSM, just because of price, but, like... One of the things I love about the CSM line is just, like, whenever there's a belt, they get the actor back to talk about it. Like, I'll never get over the Decade one.
Garen?
Decade was the one that blew me away because he is so delighted to be sitting there with the voice actor for the belt and just going like, it's the man who talks through my pants. This is amazing.
Oh, when you put it that way.
Like, that's the entire emotion of those videos, and it's always wonderful and wholesome in the stupidest way.
Yeah, it's a very much a shitpost, but a very fun shitpost.
Yeah. Speaking of shitposting...
we're finally getting to some media news.
Yeah, there is going to be a TTFC special Kamen Rider Gems...
Tokusatsu Fan Club.
Toei Tokusatsu Fan Club. Kamen Rider Gems The Presidents. This is going to be a 2-part web special, which will air on the 18th and the 25th.
Really? No, I thought it was the 11th and the 18th.
Oh, no, it is the 11th and the 18th. I'm being a silly face. But these are going to be exclusive to a streaming service in Japan, which... presumably means it's going to be a little harder for us to get subsidies, especially because it's...
Actually, no, because this is the same service that Drive Saga Brain came out on, and we got subs for that easy, so we should be fine. It's just going to be like every other special.
Okay. Well then, people, please sub this very quickly, because... Dan the Man. It's Dan the Man coming back once again, and
It's Boingo Rider's profile pic on Discord. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to be excited about this, because it's Dan the Man. How could you not be excited about Dan the Man?
Yeah, okay, well...
You still there? Hello? Buster? Sorry about that, everyone. Technical difficulties. But, yeah, this Gem special sounds pretty fun. I mean, it's more Dan Kurudo content, and how can you argue that?
Yeah, and more Bowser content, which probably, and actually, like, something interesting.
That's
probably
right, Bowser's supposed to be in this, isn't it?
Yeah, interesting, that they're using the Zaya suit from the, currently unreleased, Metsugo Junrai special, so... That's neat.
I wonder, is that going to be spoilers for that, or does it, like, set it up? What?
I think, actually, no, wait, it already came out in Japan, we just haven't gotten it here in, English. So.
Quick, somebody sub it before this gets subbed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But, yeah, that's exciting. And then, hey, getting back to, high-end collectible news, the Kamen Rider Black Tamashii Lab Satan Saber has been announced. The Satan Saber was the main weapon of Shadow Moon, aka the big silver robot bug Kamen Rider. And
Masked Rider.
Yes. What was he called in Masked Rider? Was he like Robo Rider or some shit?
No, I think Robo Rider. I'm gonna Google that quick while you blab about that.
Yeah. I mean, this prop looks pretty good. As I'll unfortunately have to bring up again later, I haven't seen Black, so this isn't super enticing to me, but it looks very accurate. So if you're a Black fan and you got the cash and you want a Satan Saber, hey, here's your chance. This is gonna have like sound effects, and it's gonna have lines from the show and background music. It's gonna be like a CSM release, and much like a CSM release, it costs $120.
Yep, it's very pricey, and we'll come back to Kamen Rider Black soon. Just you wait.
Yeah, you got that name yet?
No, I couldn't find the name. We'll just move on to Grand Geo.
Yeah, we got an announcement that SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Geo Grand Geo is happening. I mean, we always kind of knew it was happening. It's been at a few shows and festivals, but now it has an official release announced and some pretty pictures to go along with it. And
it looks sick.
It looks pretty good. I'm a little upset they couldn't get any tampo detailing on the belt, although maybe that's just because this is a prototype. Maybe they'll have that on the final release. But
then again, they already have to detail the little statues on his body, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, but it looks pretty good. Like, I'm not a big fan of most of Geo's upgrade forms, but this is a pretty significant one. And it has a great henshin. So
and insert song.
Yeah, so definitely a good one to release, and it's going to be a general release, it looks. So if Geo fans out there are after this, all 5 of you go after them. Have fun.
You would be surprised. There's more than 5 Geo fans.
I know. I just say that to rag on. Much like to rag on the entire Kamen Rider fandom, I often say I haven't finished Double. Because, hey, guess what, everybody? Kamen Rider Double, it had a sequel manga.
Oh, we should give some context to this.
And the
this.
sequel manga is getting an anime.
Yeah, well, let me give some context to this. Okay, so, Toei, they announced, we're going to announce 3 big Rider projects. This is the first one, and, people already suspected it was going to be a Fute Detectives adaptation, because, apparently the author of that, or like Riku Sanjo, or some people involved with that retweeted it. So people already suspected Fute Detectives anime, and here we are. That was pretty shocking. I actually reacted to this on a delisted stream, but, it's a pretty interesting. I like Double a lot. I like basically every Riku Sanjo Kamen Rider show, and I like Double a lot. I'm not sure if it's in my top 5, but definitely my top 10.
I mean,
so I'm very excited.
Double is one of the most popular Rider shows. It was the big swinging dick in town when I got here. So
I mean, it is one of the more profitable ones. Like it made double the money of Dano. That should tell you.
So yeah, this getting an adaptation is pretty good news. It's probably going to help propagate Kamen Rider as a property, because a lot of much like with Gridman, I imagine, a lot of anime fans are going to see this and then come stumbling into the tokusatsu fandom and be like, what is this? Isn't this a neat novel concept? This reminds me of the powerful Rangers of my youth.
And then we proceed to kick them very hard in the nutsack.
No, don't do that. Be welcoming of new people in your fandoms, everybody.
Exactly. That's what the toxic fans do. Don't kick people very hard in the nutsack. Please don't do that.
Yeah, explain to them politely how things work. And then and then if they don't obey the rules, then we can.
Yeah. What should actually help what should help Futo Detectives reach a wider audience is that Funimation, the
AKA
very well known,
one of only 2 dubbing companies that's left.
Oh yeah, like does Aniplex do dubs or?
I think Aniplex is more like a releasing group thing. I don't understand a lot of inner workings of anime releases, except that there's like only 2 or 3 dub companies left, and they all have the same 5 actors who are all shit. I don't like modern. I'm of the opinion that most modern anime dubs are trash. Sorry.
It's fine. I like them, and I feel like they're starting to get more variety in actors, at least from what I'm seeing. But yeah, Funimation is like gonna get the rights to stream both the sub and presumably dub version of Double. Very interested to see who they pick for the dub actors. Really hope they kind of go a bit weirder. Like I wouldn't mind seeing some of the regular faces, but I'm very interested to see who could possibly. I mean, a lot of like dub actors were actually commenting on this post saying, "Yeah, I love Kamen Rider. Let's go."
And I mean, speaking to the sub as well, Shitaro's actor has played like the live action versions of a bunch of big shonen protagonists in recent years, and Philip pretty much exclusively does anime voice acting and like a little modeling here and there. So maybe could we please, I'm just asking nicely. I'm not gonna like force anybody into a position they don't want to be in, but come on, it would be really nice and really just swell. It would be so swell if we could get both of them back to voice for this show.
Yeah. Although, if they can't, Memory of Heroes had new voice actors for the 2, so that might be a thing. Maybe that's why Memory of Heroes was made, to test, hey, like, let's get a cast we can have for...
that was more like, don't you want to prove your brother's death wasn't in vain?
Yeah, that's definitely what they were going for, but because they didn't ever hit that exact note, it came off as, oh yeah, you're right, I could do better than my brother. I could prove I'm the better brother.
Yeah.
And then I think he pulls that exact line on Kong Lady later in the movie too. Of like, we have to do this for my brother. And she's like, I don't even know you. Why would I care about your brother?
Speaking of Kong Lady, I found it weird how we basically did like a major, I get King of Monsters did this too, but it felt like an entire, it felt like I missed the first act of the movie when I came in, because, after the Kong, breaks the barrier, I was like, wait, what happened? Did I miss the first act or something?
It was King of Monsters.
It kind of starts in media res.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that they just, move it along and they still explain it well, but, I don't know.
Because apparently, during King of Monsters, the reason there wasn't any Skullcrawlers or Kong being summoned by Ghidorah is because Kong was on the island just killing all the Skullcrawlers.
Huh.
Did they explain that in, auxiliary media or something, or is that just implied
I think so.
here?
I think it was explained in auxiliary media, and that's why this is the status quo at the beginning of the movie.
Okay. See, I hadn't seen any of that, so I just assumed, the storm, just at some point in the last 30 years or however long it's been, the storm moved in, and now Kong is stuck there.
Because that's also why...
Until they get some ships. Which was also really weird and convenient. Again, I'm complaining about this in the text of somebody who wants to get nitpicky. On the surface of this being a giant monster smash-up, this bit is fine, but it's also hilarious how quickly it's just one person convinces another person, and then suddenly the entire US Navy is transporting Kong.
I mean, Monarch has pull now because, hey look, giant monsters. We do shit with them.
Yeah, what else?
What was the... This is a tangent. What was the team name in the Godzilla cartoon from, 2000?
I've never seen that.
Same, I've not seen that, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. I know it exists, but...
It's the only good thing to come from the 1999 Godzilla movie. 1998.
The only I know of that show, but the only Godzilla cartoon shit I know is Godzilla.
What's Godzuki?
American cartoon.
50...
From,
the Hanna-Barbera one?
50s, 60s Hanna-Barbera cartoon called...
No, that's 70s.
Oh, it's 70s? Wow, okay. Well, there was a 70s Godzilla cartoon, and I've never seen an actual
you just said Hanna-Barbera.
But the intro is literally this big dramatic Godzilla theme going up from the depths, 30 stories tall, breathing fire, Godzilla, and then it gets really silly and it goes, and Godzuki, and this weird looking baby dinosaur thing flies into the screen and starts goofing around. That's the intro to that show.
Okay, so that's where the whatever comes from. Oh, whatever. Maybe I'll check it out one day for a laugh. Yeah, should we get into Mechagodzilla?
Yeah, Mechagodzilla's in this movie, people. Y'all already knew that, didn't ya?
Yeah.
Before we
Mechagodzilla is kind of in the movie.
Before we get into story, how y'all feeling about this design?
I like it. I thought it was just going to be okay, I'll copy and paste, just make a machine. I'm almost surprised about how, diverse it felt, especially, the little rotating robot arms.
I like it, especially when you realize that it's also partially Mecha King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that little detail. He's basically fighting Ghidorah again.
I think it's fine, but it is my least favorite Mechagodzilla.
Understandable.
I can get that, but it's kind of... Again, it's trying to be a little bit of Mechagodzilla, Mecha King Ghidorah, because those hands are just mouths.
Yeah. Also, they just generally design wise, they're kind of ripped straight off of War for Cybertron Omega Supreme. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No, Trypticon.
No. Trypticon's hands are fine in that game. Look at War for Cybertron Omega Supreme's gun hand.
But that's Omega Supreme's gun hand all the time.
Yeah. I'll say, I like Mechagodzilla in the movie. My problem comes from my biggest problem with the movie. How the treatment of Shun Origiri's character. He does nothing in this movie.
Why is that a problem?
I wanted more with him. I just felt like if you get, especially
I feel like an idiot. I don't know who Shun Origiri is.
He's the actor.
Shirazawa's son.
Yeah, that guy. And they don't even mention he's Shirazawa's son.
Oh,
they gave him like
oh, wow.
They say his name is Shirazawa.
That is bad.
yeah,
They
and like
say he died.
oh no, he's got a brain fried. He's totally dead, and he's totally dead. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing: my dumb brain goes like, "Oh, they can turn him into Jet Jaguar."
I guess, but like, if this is supposed to be the end of the MonsterVerse, and just like I'm gonna treat it as the end of the MonsterVerse until further confirmation.
I mean, if they announce the next movie as Godzilla versus Jet Jaguar, you know I'm pre-ordering a ticket.
Yeah, like I will be fine with this if they like managed like, okay, no, he didn't die, he just passed out. I don't think I think he's dead. I'm sorry. Like I mean,
Did
I
you
know
see
this
a
is a
body?
monster.
Did you see a body and someone goes, "Oh, he's dead"? In terms of sci-fi, that's the only time you like weird fantasy sci-fi shit. That's the only time you know if someone's dead. Any other time, if you do not have a body, they always come back to life. Just look at Kamen Rider.
All right, calm down.
Okay, fair.
I was going to say, I think from a filmmaking perspective, they were implying he's dead, but you can salvage that scene and say that he passed out. Like,
yeah.
The fact that you both interpreted that separate ways shows that they either intended to leave it open-ended, or they just happen to leave it open-ended enough that if they're smart and the MonsterVerse does get continued, he can still come back.
Yeah. And it just kind of felt a bit icky that the only Asian person just barely did anything. I don't know. Maybe I'm overanalyzing it.
I mean, arguably,
Well,
he does have a pretty important role.
And
like,
the Death Girl is Southeast Asian.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. But I don't know, like...
By the way,
still...
props to that little girl. She was a really good child.
Oh, yeah.
actress.
Yeah,
It helps that you didn't have to say lines.
Yeah, but like...
Because kid actors are great at physical acting, it's dialogue where they struggle.
That's true. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed this movie quite a bit. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we really need to comment on.
Oh, choreography. Can we talk about the... I feel like, compared to King of the Monsters, the choreography is way better. And also, like, it somehow still feels like a craft. Like, you know, I think the big problem people have with CGI is that it doesn't feel like as much of a craft as practical effects. This made it feel like, I feel like this is the closest thing CGI has gotten to practical effects in terms of the craft of it all, because of the detail and just the choreography and the creativity of the fights.
I mean, it really does feel like they're in a real restrictive environment at times, especially in that city fight where, there's one scene where Godzilla's, like, going down a hall of buildings and he keeps bumping into them on the side, and it's not really hindering him, but it's just, like, the damage that's incidentally being caused of, like, that's something that usually would just be an accidental side thing if it was suitmation, but feels very much like an intentional thought process.
Yeah. But like, yeah, honestly, it's like the effects work and the choreography, the fights, it's just, that's what you're here for. But like, that's what's selling you on the ticket. It lives up to the hype. Especially like all the combo attacks and all, like, in the final battle with Mechagodzilla. And it's hard to describe. It's very much... It's just fun, man. It's a fun...
It's all very cleverly done, but at the end of the day, it does all, and this is another line from the Red Letter Media Review, it does all have this wonderful air of just feeling like a kid in their bathtub smashing.
Same! Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I mean, with everything that was in this movie, from set designs to the vehicle designs to the way everything was structured, this is a modern Showa era Godzilla movie.
Yeah, and I kind of said that about King of the Monsters too, and I think that's a really smart way to approach it. It's almost similar to the Marvel method with the MCU of just like taking these kooky classic things that have been cult favorites for decades and saying like, okay, what can we take from this that the feel is still intact, but then change it in little ways to make it more acceptable to a wide audience. Seems to have really paid off here, because like this movie did buku bucks at the box office, apparently drove up HBO Max subscriptions pretty well, and people have been talking about hashtag continue the MonsterVerse all week.
Okay, if I may quickly touch on that, can we stop making hashtags for every little movie thing? No more air cuts, no more... I'm sorry, like... I get it. Though I feel like I want to see what Toho does next with Godzilla instead of relying on an American studio personally. But why
not both?
I mean,
It's just a license.
It has been getting annoying to an extent in terms of the hashtags, but like they've all been good to an extent. So I would genuinely like to see the MonsterVerse continue, especially with how many untapped characters there are in this universe. I mean, we could go straight back into aliens attacking for the next one if you wanted my favorite Godzilla kaiju and bring in Gigan. Could we get legendary Gigan, please? I would so love to see that.
I mean, honestly, I could totally see them doing it with how like big it's doing at the box office.
There's other things too, like why not bring in the other American kaiju that Legendary has access to, Cloverfield?
What?
Yeah, Legendary produced Cloverfield.
I think that's what I think that's what they submitted as their resume to be able to.
Because that's a damn good kaiju flick.
I still have not seen Cloverfield, so
the first one is really solid. Okay. The rest of it literally does not matter.
Oh no,
I thought like Cloverfield Lane was great. That's
Paramount does Cloverfield, so completely unrelated. I am wrong.
Dang it, Boingo!
That's it. You're fired. Get off this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm joking. You're fine. I love you.
But no, they could why not make new American monsters? Fuck it, why not?
I mean, we have the Motu.
We have the Motus. We have Behemoth. We have the big mammoth looking boy.
Hey, there were those fucking Batro looking things that attacked Kong in there.
Yeah. Like there's so many. Even if they don't do Godzilla anymore, they can continue making monster movies.
I would genuinely love to see them do. Like I said, I already said Gigan, but Biollante would be another great one. If we want to get even more crazy crossover stuff and license out another big name kaiju, there's a certain aquatic spinning boy we'd love to have. His name is Gomora. And we wanna do some more social commentary, painting the monsters as pollution destroying heroes. You could bring in a certain written off campy boy named Hedera. There's places to go. There's things to do. I think this franchise definitely does.
Isn't Destroyoha just pure pollution?
I think he's just a space demon. That's what I remember. But Hedera is the one from the movie that sometimes gets mistranslated into Godzilla versus the pollution monster and is like really cheap and terrible and is just a straight up pollution bad film from the 70s. But like you could remake that and make it a really good pollution bad movie.
Yeah. And nothing says they couldn't say, "Hey Toho, you got this other kaiju thing that we can maybe tap into and say do an American Ultraman?"
No, that's Superaya.
Toho produces the live action stuff though.
Do they?
What? No, they don't.
Superaya does that all in house, from what I hear.
Yeah, that's Toho. They haven't had Ultraman and like just because AG Superaya did stuff for Toho, I don't think that means Ultraman's owned by Toho.
Yeah, AG Superaya got his start working on Toho Godzilla movie and then founded Superaya Productions.
Yeah, I mean, if Toho actually does own another Tokusatsu hero franchise,
it's owned by Fields Corporation of Japan. There's no English wiki page for them. Even then, why not just license, like you said, license out other?
I guess you can license.
What if they just start following Anno and licensing everything he does and making the legendary Toku verse?
And it ends with,
oh my god, cursed thought, very cursed thought. Legendary
it could be glorious. Legendary Kamen Rider? I would be kind of up for that.
I said Legendary Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Ugh, no. Fuck that.
Hey,
yeah, exactly.
Legendary did Pacific Rim.
They did.
Look.
But then, like, you have Pacific Rim. Why not just make Pacific Rim cross over into this universe?
Yeah, I mean, like, you got goodwill with fans now that Pacific Rim: The Black is actually a good show, so...
But then they have to figure out how to explain the Chinese movie.
The way to explain the Chinese movie is shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Retcon it. Just pull I forgot what movie ignores... Pull a Cars 2. There.
But we've been talking about this movie for probably a half hour now. Any other final thoughts about this actual movie here?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like it. Honestly, I'm very satisfied. I don't need the MonsterVerse to continue, but it would be neat if it did. Very fun movie, very fun time at the theaters. Really excited that theaters are opening again. Probably gonna see Mortal Kombat next, but that's not Toku, so I'm gonna shut up.
It could be considered Toku.
We're not getting into that debate.
We're not doing no Mortal Kombat on this show.
I'm not saying you have to do it on the show. I'm just saying, by the pure definition of what tokusatsu is,
Tokusatsu is a Japanese term, okay? We're covering mostly Japanese.
I'm not going to talk about the next season of Doctor Who on this podcast. Let's put it that way.
Well, Japan calls it tokusatsu, so I don't know what you guys are fucking.
All right, get out.
All right, now you're really kicked off of this podcast. Get the fuck out of here. Go, get out.
Hey, why are you booing? I'm right.
No, you're not. And there he goes. There's the rap scandal.
But that's gonna do it for the new episodes this week, folks. I did watch
new movies.
Yeah. But new releases. Let's say new release.
Yeah.
And I'll forget to update the topic. But damn it. He just posted that. He just posted that GIF in the chat. Did you watch any old stuff, or was it just me this week? I forget.
Do you count Radiant Black as Toku? We're not.
We don't talk about comics or animation on the show.
So no, it does not count. Fair. Okay.
All right, well, I watched a couple things. I did finish Garo vs. Road this week. Episodes 9 through 12 is what I watched. So, remember how you were thanking me for keeping things relatively spoiler-free so that you could watch it if you chose to?
Oh, no.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you not to watch this, because the ending is pretty terrible.
Oof.
Like, I'm not going to go into huge spoilers, because there may be people who still want to watch this, even though I'm saying I don't recommend this show anymore. But they explain the backstory of the guy who's been the mastermind behind this whole thing, and we basically find out that he was a candidate to be Garo at one point, and he fucked it up. And then this lady who is described as the daughter of a horror and a human who has been, like, in the protective custody of the Makai Order this whole time. She just somehow gets in on what's going on with this tournament and then kills all the judges and is like, you guy who fucked it all up, I like you. I'm gonna make you into a supervillain. Let's meet up again in 20 years and do this whole tournament again, but to everyday people, because that'll be funny. That's the villain plot of the show. That's what it's revealed to be. And then
would you at least say the journey is worth it?
I think the journey is fairly solid. But then, like, after I saw that backstory episode, I was like, alright, well, we're down to our main 4 characters. One of them is, like, an outwardly projecting soft uwu boy who's actually a psychotic murderer. The 2 of them are, like, outwardly projecting tough boy badasses who are actually just trying to get to the bottom of things. And then one of them is main character protagonist man, who wants to be a good boy and do what needs to be done for the greater good, but has trouble actually doing it and has to have a moment of resolve. And so I'm like, okay, we're probably killing Soft Boy, but then I think the other 3 are going to join up to actually try and beat the villain instead of playing into the game. And then that doesn't happen. Everybody except for main character kills each other. And there's like a big dramatic moment where the last guy dies and sort of like passes the mission of ending things onto the main character. And then he gets the Garo armor and has like a big dramatic fight with the villain who has used the negative karma generated by everybody throughout this whole death game to create his own Nemesis Garo armor. And they fight. They have a big old fight. And eventually...
Is it a good fight?
It's a good fight. It's a fairly well choreographed fight. There's very little actual suit work. It's mostly CGI, but it's very good CGI, especially for a TV budget. But ultimately, the villain is defeated, and there's this big moment of like the main character going, "I should kill you. You're telling me to kill you, but I've had enough of killing. That all I've seen for the last 12 episodes is people killing each other. I'm breaking the cycle, starting with just gonna leave you here." They're on like a snowy mountaintop. Somehow, by like fighting through multiple Makai dimensions and various imaginative Keita Amamiya bullshit, they end up on a snowy mountaintop. He's like, "I'm just gonna leave you here." And then the half horror lady shows up, takes what's left of the villain's armor, and then forms it into weapons and kills him. she's just like, lol, if you won't kill him, I will. And then you think, okay, I guess this final episode is longer than I thought it was going to be. I guess they're going to have a showdown. And then she just fucks off. She just leaves. And he's like, okay, I guess I'll fuck off too. Well, he's got like gaping, bleeding, open wounds. He has like super tattered clothes, and he's on a snowy mountaintop in the middle of nowhere. Like literally, the last shot of the show is him walking away from one of the villains' bodies and the Garo sword, which he left in the snow, as the camera pans up and like the music swells, and it's meant to be this big operatic final moment. And I'm like, yeah, but no, he's an idiot, because like, he has no idea how far away from civilization he is, and he's not even taking the only weapon he could possibly have to defend himself. Like, putting aside the significance that I have attached to that sword as a fan of this franchise, it is moronic of him not to take the only weapon available when it looks like it's getting dark, and he could be attacked by wolves at any second.
So what you're saying is, the last shot of the show is a worse version of Super Mega Force's ending.
Kinda, yeah. And also it kind of gave me
I love the sword thing.
Kind of like
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And then, especially because I have an inkling they might do the Gaim thing. Like, unless Keita Amamiya has had a shit ton of ideas during quarantine, which it's Keita Amamiya, so he very well might have. I think the intention was to leave it open-ended here so they could do another series with these two characters.
What you're saying, it sounds like they want to do a Versus Road 2.
Yeah, and I'm like, with the way they leave it, I'm like, but I don't want to see more of these characters now. This main character comes off as an idiot to me, and like, yeah, I guess I could want to see this villain get her comeuppance, but like, also, no, because it's low-key another semi-sexist Garo female character, because the franchise is riddled with those.
Interesting.
It's I don't know, it was a whole mix of emotions, this ending.
Yeah, you just spoiled it all, even though you said you wouldn't, but like, okay, sure.
Sorry. I just had to let that shit out.
It's fine, you need to let it out.
It was like a whole weekend, because I watched the last episode Friday morning, and I had a whole weekend of just going, but what? But why did he? What? Are they really going to continue with the? Do I really want to watch a continuation of this, where the first episode is this character finding out that the lady is up to some shit again, and then the second episode is him going back into the forest to get the sword? No, I don't.
From what you describe, if I were to quote unquote salvage this with a sequel series, I would basically have like quote unquote another, like, this is a dumb idea, but please call me dumb when I finish this. But like basically have another death game, and then the main protagonist man just comes in to try to stop it, and then he passes it on to another person or something. I don't know.
That would be fine, I guess, but like they kind of did every death game trope in this series. So
yeah, there's really not much
get
more
another one out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe if they actually add like everyone gets a Garo armor, but that would be pretty ridiculous.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we will get a sequel series to this that's really good. Maybe we won't get a sequel series to this at all, and they'll move on to something else. But like, as it stands, I feel like this show did a really good job. Like, I'll admit, most of this show is probably the best version of a death game plot I've ever seen. It helps that I already like Garo and its sensibilities, but like, the ending kind of soiled it.
Yeah, understandable. Honestly, like I've learned to just like if a part of a show is good, it's good. It does, like, even if it gets worse later on, I still appreciate those good parts.
That's true, and like
that's basically me of
Gaim's ending. I still have a certain fondness for early Gaim.
Yeah, I just mentioned it. Yeah, like I'm not the biggest fan of Gaim's ending, particularly episode 47. That just ugh. But like, I think Gaim is still a good series. It just has a few rough patches.
And then the other thing the other thing I watched was Kamen Sentai Go Rider, the X-Aid miniseries that was it like released for a streaming service or like as a Blu-ray bonus feature? I forget.
Okay, so I think this was a web release to tie into Cho Superhero Tyson, which also featured the Go Riders.
Yeah. Which was kind of hilarious because I had forgotten that, and then like at one point Emu just in the final battle, Emu just has the things that turned him into the Go Rider powers, and I'm like, where did he get those? And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh yeah, this was a superhero Tyson.
Yeah, actually, funny lore bit of my history. The first review I ever wrote that you can't find anymore, and thank God it sucks, was a Cho Superhero Tyson review. So, hey, this is a nice back to my roots.
Nice.
It was an awful review. I basically ripped off a Toku reviewer that doesn't even do Toku reviewers anymore. I don't think you even know who he is. But it was a bad review. It was very misinformed.
Hey, everybody's first review is a bad.
Fair, yeah.
But like, this is my first time seeing this. I had kind of just put it off because it didn't get subbed right away, if I remember correctly. And by the time it did get subbed, I was kind of done with X-Aid. Like, I haven't watched the X-Aid Another Ending trilogy, just because not enough care. But I'll probably get to it eventually, like I got to this. And I'm kind of glad I got to this, because this is really fun free episodes that are like 30 minutes each, so they're longer than the average Kamen Rider episode. And there was some solid character interaction in this, and like a return to early Heisei contrived dramatic writing, which I found oddly comforting, especially with the amount of like gimmicky bullshit that's crammed in this.
Yeah, like Kenzaki from Blade, and another who plays another Agito. What's his character name?
I forget. They said his full name at one point, but mostly they just refer to him as Mr.
Kino.
So his last name is Kino, and he has a first name that's something else, but everybody just calls him Mr. Kino.
Yeah.
That sounds like the name of a YouTuber, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's like a name I would make if I was dumb.
But I actually really enjoyed the character dynamics in this, because it's kind of based. Everybody's role in the story is kind of based around how old their character is relative to the franchise. Like, Emu is very much like this scared, unsure of himself child who doesn't quite know what's going on but is trying to figure it out. Meanwhile, Baron and Marika are too cool for school, and frickin'
Kenzaki and Kino are like wiser and like.
Well, actually, Kino is straight up like, listen, motherfucker, you're gonna tell me what's... He's like an angry old uncle. He's like, you're gonna tell me what the fuck is happening right now. Stop being a little bitch. Explain yourself.
Like, the closest thing we have to a Showa rider in this.
Mm-hmm. And Kenzaki is the one who's just old enough to be level-headed, but just young enough to still have that, haha, fuck you spirit. So he's like, calm down, everybody. It's fine. Until
that's a totally Kenzaki thing, and I'm glad to hear that. So, Blade is one of my favorites ones. So. Until
you get to the big reveal that Kenzaki was Dan the Man the whole time, and this has been an evil plot by him the whole time.
Didn't Kenzaki come back, like the actual Kenzaki or something?
Well, I was about to say, and then the actual Kenzaki shows up and goes in the game, and he's like, haha, fuck you, trump card.
Yeah.
Which was great. Like, whoever made this was clearly a very big Blade fan.
Let me see. I think Inoue wrote this. Let me see. Because Inoue always writes for these specials. Like, he wrote Another Rider Times. And
I was going to say, it was probably somebody who, like, had a very good knowledge of Kamen Rider, because the character dynamics were solid. Everybody... Like, I haven't seen Agito, but everybody felt pretty in character to me. And...
Interesting.
Oh?
The head writer of this special is Kento I cannot say words. Kento Shuniyama, who wrote Gyo.
Oh, hey.
He also it's directed by Kazuo Kamurochi, who not only directed Real Soldier, but directed a lot of the big episodes of Build, like specifically the one with Hazard.
I can see that in how stylish this gets at points. Like, there's some solid character stuff going on here.
Yeah, we got
like I did love how they when Kenzaki shows up and Dan's like, I'm gonna kill everybody if I can't come back to, because this is during the brief period in X8 where he was dead. So this is like a plot he left behind in order to bring himself back to life. And he's like, well, if I can't revive, then none of you will be able to, and I'm gonna kill you all right now. And he's like, yeah, you can't do that because I'm the Joker. And this is technically another world, and if there's only one Joker, then the world ends. So, and just the entire video game world starts falling apart, and he's like, "Oh, god damn it!" It's really good.
Also, all these characters have died at some point. Is that correct?
Yeah. That's actually how we get clued into the fact that Kenzaki is not Kenzaki, because another Agito has died, Baron and Marika have died, and then Kiria is there, and he's died, which is, we get a nice little pre-reunion with, Emu and Kiria. And then...
Honestly, a lot of this special just feels redundant given what happens later in X8, but this again, different writers, so... Yeah,
that's fair. And then also, the excuse they give is, well, Kenzaki forwent his humanity, so he's technically dead in human. And then when you find out it's not Kenzaki, it's like, oh, that explains why Kenzaki was here as one of the dead riders. He was a secret agent, but there was an excuse. Kind of clever, like.
I might need to rewatch this or actually watch it, because it's as Blade content, and I'm a sucker for Blade content, and it's X8 content. X8 was my first writer, so let's go. I should probably get on this.
Yeah, it's about the length of a standard length movie. I'd say it totals up to about 90 minutes. There are, like I said, there is some kind of contrived dramatic writing. There's a lot of characters not getting along and then splitting up and then getting into a fight and getting along again in the first 2 episodes. And I think some people would probably get really annoyed by that, but I thought it was fine just because I was really charmed by the fact that it was like early Heisei style writing with new Heisei style effects and plugging of things. So yeah, I enjoyed it a fair bit, and that's everything for this week. We've gotten through this massive monumental episode. Remember
that was 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that was quite a bit. We came right up on the original time limit. I said I don't want us to ever go over 2.5 hours, and there it is, folks.
It's TWIT the movie, y'all.
But, Buster, before we leave, you gotta tell the people who you are and where they can find your stuff, should you want.
Sup, I'm Buster Corp. I do video essays and produce original series via Busters coming soon. I just released 2 videos over the weekend. First off, on Kamen Rider ZO, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, but this is a bit more in-depth and concise thoughts. And another on the Tokusatsu-inspired comic book, Radiant Black. And I actually like both. I think I'm proud of both of these videos. I'm starting to get into a good creative groove, so please check them out. And make sure, and please overthrow my OKKO video. I have no idea why that's the most popular. I literally just made it out of please make another video more popular than that.
Sick. Hi everybody, I'm the Vacuuminator. I make other videos on this channel. I'm one half of the Modular Media No Prize Cast and the Modular Media Wrestling Podcast, better known as MMWP. You can check those out on this channel, this YouTube channel if you're listening to us on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe, ring the bell in order to enable notifications in order to get every one of our podcasts as we upload them. And please follow this podcast individually on whatever alternative platform you like listening to it. You can find links to that down in the video description, and you can also find links to all the news stories we discussed this week down in the video description. That's something I keep forgetting to mention. I need to start mentioning that at either the end or the beginning of the news segment is, hey, there's links to everything in the video description, no matter where you're listening to this on. But you can also check us out on Twitter at the Modular Media for updates on the show and when it's coming out. You can check out my own content at youtube.com/thevacuuminator. That's spelled THEBACUUMINATOR. I'm also on Twitter at thevacuuminator and Instagram at _vacuuminator, posting action figure photography. And be sure to keep up with everything Modular Media via our subreddit r/mod. But that is finally going to do it for this week in Tokusatsu. We will see you next week when we find out what happens that week, Tokusatsu.